The Islamist-led Syrian interim government reached a preliminary agreement with Israel and began escalating against the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces immediately after that. Tensions between the government and the SDF have been building up for months over the failure to implement the integration agreement signed last March. The end-of-the-year deadline passed with no progress, and direct talks held in Damascus on January 4th failed to produce any meaningful understanding. However, a new round of talks with Israel that began in Paris on January 5th was more successful and resulted in a preliminary agreement that was announced the next day. A joint statement from the two countries and the United States said that the talks resulted in the creation of a joint fusion mechanism, a dedicated communication cell meant to facilitate immediate and ongoing coordination on their intelligence sharing, military de-escalation, diplomatic engagement, and commercial opportunities. Right after the announcement of the preliminary agreement with Israel on January 6th, Syrian government forces began attacking the Kurdish neighborhoods of Sheikh Maqsoud and Ashrafiyeh in the northern city of Aleppo. Multiple attempts to de-escalate failed, and by the end of the day it became clear that government forces are preparing a military operation to capture the neighborhoods, which are under the de facto control of the SDF. On January 7th, government forces declared Sheikh Maqsoud and Ashrafiyeh a closed military zone and classified all SDF positions within the two neighborhoods as legitimate military targets. The military also announced a curfew and opened 2 evacuation corridors, promoting an exodus of civilians from the neighborhoods. Kurdish forces said that they repelled multiple attacks to the north and east of the neighborhoods, mainly along the Castillo Road and the Al Ramoun roundabout. Government forces denied any attempt to storm the neighborhood, but confirmed that they will later launch a military operation there. On January 8th, the government escalated strikes on Kurdish forces after issuing a warning. Clashes have so far claimed the lives of 15 people, including 7 civilians from Sheikh Maqsoud and Ashrafiyeh, as well as 5 members of government forces. Despite the progress in talks with Syria, Israel condemned the attack on Kurdish forces in Aleppo city, with the foreign minister slamming the systematic and murderous repression of Syria's various minorities by the government. It is clear that Syria's Islamist ruler thought that the preliminary agreement with Israel, which gave it de facto control over all of the country's south, was a green light to start a battle against the SDF. Israel's reaction, however, indicates that this may be just a political trap.